Right, okay, good evening everybody. We are back on the couch this week. That's kind of what it's ended up being called, to be honest. Back on the couch. I've got Ben on today. Ben's a big Liverpool fan, aren't you?
I am.
Season ticket holder.
Yeah.
And you may recognise him. Ben's been on before a couple of times actually. When you haven't sat on the couch before though, have you?
I was on one of the stools, wasn't I?
When we rose, so the stools are kind of behind the camera. It was when it first started.
Stools. On the second show, you know.
Yeah, it was,
I think so.
Yeah, you actually were, because I'd done the first one on my own to introduce it.
Yeah.
And then you come on the second one. Thanks for that, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a chat about a few things. I think back at the time it was Chelsea's loads of signings that we were talking about.
Yeah, and Leeds, Jesse Marsh losing his job.
Jesse Marsh, yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's it. So Ben's come back on for me this season. It's time to kind of, I've done a few shows where I've had other drone operators on and had a chat with them and wanted to get back into the football side of it, especially this week. We've had the international break, but obviously we've got games coming up this weekend. Who are you this weekend?
We are away to Wolves. We're the early kick-off, the half 12.
Oh yeah, it's Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, we are we're Sunday, Arsenal. Yeah.
Big one for you. Yeah.
No, yeah, every game's a big game for us, you know.
It went well at the end of last season when you played then.
It did, mate. Dyche's first game in charge, yeah. Yeah, it did indeed, yeah. So, got Ben on, like I say, to have a chat about football, go back to the football side of things. What we're going to talk about first, I have a little agenda, I say this every week. I have a little agenda that me and Ben can kind of see. There's a screen behind there, so you might see us look aside, because I'll also bring some things up for us to look at now and again. But we have a little agenda, but whether we stick to it or not, one of them things.
See where we go.
Just have a chat, really, yeah. So first thing, anyway, I did want to talk to a Liverpool fan about, so you were a perfect choice. The Anfield Road Stand, as you know, I cover it by drone. I've done for a couple of years now, since they first started. So what I wanted to kind of ask you about, though, as a fan who goes to games, is as it had, so the delays in that, I'm not going to ask you about as the entire thing had an effect, because that's like kind of too hard to answer, because you could say, well, yeah, it has, but they needed to do it, so it's a no-brainer. But just the recent delays, because obviously it was expected initially to be ready for the start of this season, and then they did say they'll play a couple of games away or whatever, especially the first game away. Then obviously it was, right, it's not going to be ready till October, they said, didn't they? Then Buckingham's the contractor went bust.
Yeah. So
what's it, if you felt like going the game, when they first said about the delays this season, did you feel like were you worried about it at all, anything like that?
Worried, no. Disappointed, yeah, because I think all Liverpool fans were keen to obviously get the stadium opened with the new increased capacity, because I think when the main stand opened, it made a massive difference. Like, you could tell the atmosphere was much better.
Right, okay.
Even the facilities around the ground, the way all the walkways were done and everything. Yeah. It's like you were going to a different stadium altogether. Yeah. And they partly done it with the Anfield Road. So there was excitement from everyone, like thinking, is that going to be ready for the start of the season? And I did a stadium tour with my nephew in the summer. And
this summer,
I spoke to one of the guys who's like one of the stewards on the pitch, and he'd said to me they've asked for the first 2 games to be away. They put a request in. At that point it hadn't been sort of revealed. I think they'd mentioned that there was going to be one, the first game away. So I was thinking, okay, there's probably a bit of an issue here. And I know when your drone updates, you were given, little bits of updates of things you were hearing, and I was thinking, this isn't sounding great. It is what it is, to be honest. I mean, it's disappointing about what's happened with Buckingham Group for contractors and stuff like that. That's probably the saddest part about it, to be honest. It's people who've got proper jobs and families and livelihoods who have been impacted. For Liverpool and the fans, it's been an inconvenience, but it'll get done, and probably not too much further down the line, hopefully. Yeah,
do you know what? I've asked people like on my channel and that it's really good, and it's really it's really Liverpool attitude, not just, I don't mean Liverpool Football Club attitude, as in Liverpool, the city attitude, that people seem to be more concerned about, well, people are losing their jobs. So
Yeah.
I can't sit here and moan about a seat's not going to be ready or so many seats aren't going to be ready when there's people out there. And like I say, that's got kind of a real city vibe that people are just like more concerned about.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
you can't-
socialist city, isn't it?
Yeah,
Where you care
yeah.
about the people and stuff.
Mm.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it hasn't impacted me, actually.
It
at
hasn't.
all. So
Where do you sit?
I'm in the main stand.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So it hasn't made any impact at all. If I was one of the new people who were getting the tickets for the Alley Road and that's been pushed back and you're missing the first game of the season, the second, third and fourth, then obviously they'll have a different feeling.
Yeah,
So that'd be understandable. There's obviously about 5,000, 6,000 people
yeah.
who haven't been able to go yet.
Yeah.
But like I say, hopefully it's short term, it's not much longer. The main thing is it looks like it's restarted again, has it?
It has. Definitely this week. They had a new contractor, Rainer Rowan, appointed beginning of last week, I think it was. I was the first to report that, by the way. But anyway, they had them appointed, and they've done an assessment process to obviously go in and assess what needs doing and that. But yeah, people are back. I went the other day and the brickies are back there, laying bricks and everything, so it was great to see they're back there. What's the atmosphere been like? Is it
So I only went to Bournemouth because I was away for Aston Villa and that was my mate's game anyway.
Yeah.
Atmosphere for Bournemouth was really good because of the way the game went. So
1-0 down with
we
3-1, was it?
we started absolutely terribly. 1-0 down, could have been worse. They had a goal obviously that they scored that was disallowed.
Oh, they did, yeah, that's
Then
right, yeah.
Alisson did that thing where he got tackled and could have been sent off, to be honest. It was one of them where he commits the foul, gets the yellow card, and I think we're only about 7 minutes in and I'm thinking
Yeah.
we're all over the place here.
It was a bad
And
start to
then
that game.
the way the game went with the red card that wasn't a red, the fans then got...
McAllister.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a really poor decision for the red and it got everyone up. And then obviously they did well, they come back into it, played well until about the last 10 minutes and then Bournemouth had a little go at the end. But atmosphere wise, because of the way the game flowed and stuff, it was a really good one.
So nothing for you to... And the entire bottom section then was Bournemouth fans, was it, of the Anfield Road Stand?
Do you know what, I can't remember.
I think it might have been.
Probably not for Bournemouth, I wouldn't imagine.
All right.
Don't
I think
know.
'cause it's only about 3,000, I think that bottom, I think it might have been, you know.
Yeah.
But
It was, do you know what's strange? It was strange seeing the actual Anfield Road now as the extended stand with half of it empty, with half of the seats done, some missing and stuff.
Yeah,
that was
just a bit weird. Like,
that was unusual. Yeah, it was strange.
Yeah. But other than that, though, you just say it's just a little bit disappointing that it's not gone to plan, like kind of thing.
Yeah, like I say, more of an inconvenience and a disappointment. But knowing it will get sorted. The main thing is that the new construction company have come in. Because the concern was, how long is this going to take? Is there going to be legal issues? And
that's what I was just about to ask. When you first heard that Buckingham's had gone bust, was there a party that was like, oh, is this gonna go on for forever? Like,
yeah, well, because of the fact obviously they were doing Fulham's and I think they were doing part of Birmingham's ground as well.
Yeah.
And Fulham's is 2 years behind
2 years
or something
down,
like that, isn't it? So yeah, I was a little bit worried, only about the legal side, because obviously Liverpool would have the money to get it sorted out, but I don't know how contracts work and stuff like that.
Well, that would be the problem, wouldn't it? Whether there's contractual issues. I assume, and this is just my assumption, so nothing confirmed, but I assume that in most clauses, in most contracts, you'll find, I'm not just talking construction, just in most contracts in general between two businesses, there's normally like a termination clause that relates to any insolvency.
Yeah.
Which normally says, it's only dead standard, says upon the result of like any insolvency, liquidation, administration on any part or whatever, you have the right to terminate. And I can imagine they probably relied on that and said, you've gone bust, now so we're terminating.
That's obviously what has happened, but with
really
not having any awareness of it in the first place, you're like, let's hope this doesn't go on for months and months or even a year or whatever.
No, they've done well, to be fair. And I'll say, to be fair to Liverpool, they've done well to turn it round. And what was it, 2 weeks down tools, and then people are back on site working away. It's good, to be fair. It's decent.
That's when there's a lot of money involved, isn't it?
Yeah. A lot of money, because they said I think, well, not they said, Liverpool haven't said, but somebody else done an article And basically, I think they've done some like guesstimations and worked out they think it's about like 750,000 per match.
It's about 7,000 tickets, isn't it?
Yeah.
Around between £40 and £50 a ticket.
Yeah.
So yeah,
just say average. So that would be, but then you've got your.
I'm not going to do the maths because
I was just about to, and I thought that, George, you've off. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So yeah, when they look at that, and it's the massive fan base of passionate fans. I think there's so long. I think the Liverpool fans will be patient, but I think there is a limit to that as well, where they'll start saying, "I'm not," you know.
Well, I mean, being honest, when I'm talking about me being totally fine with it, there was a lot on social media that weren't.
Yeah.
It was at a time when we'd made some early signings, but we'd stopped making signings. So there was a lot of discontent with the owners, and then it was like, oh, and they messed this up as well.
Yeah.
And it was a bit like, well, maybe this isn't their fault.
Yeah. People were saying that on my channel. They were saying FSG, typical FSG, going the cheap way, this, that, the other, and I was like, I did say on some of my videos, like, I can't like stress enough that this is nothing to do with Liverpool. Like, Liverpool can't control, like, well, I say that, but you know, I don't know about pay. I don't know whether Liverpool held back payments or whatever. I don't know, but it was kind of made clear that they'd struggled with the Fulham stadium and then others as well. So I don't think it was Liverpool.
How long ago did you sign contracts and stuff like that? You just don't know, do you?
No, you don't know the ins and outs, but I doubt it's anything to do with FSG, with the fact that they've gone.
If you're an FSG out, then you will find a way of pinning whatever on them, and if you're one of them that is a bit more relaxed, people will say, well, why aren't you blaming them? So,
yeah, that's it. So you say about I did actually get a message when you say about people that have got tickets, may have another, like, are in the upper Anfield or whatever, might have a different view. I actually got a message only it's actually on Facebook only like yesterday. Somebody said I've got a ticket for the upper Anfield Road Stand. If it's not finished by October, what will happen? And they were like asking me, and I had to reply saying, I'm assuming you get a refund. I didn't even tell what game or anything, and I was like, I'm assuming you get a refund, mate, but I don't know, like, you'll have to ask.
That's because you've been given good updates.
Possibly, yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? Yeah, put myself into a position there. On that note, when you say about FSG, if you're an FSG outer, they'll find a way of blaming that. On that, move on to our kind of second positive agenda, which we'll move on to the other side of the park, my club, Everton. And what I wanted to just kind of talk about was the latest news. If you put in Everton news right now, all you'll get is 777 takeover. All about the takeover, which has come out this week. I've done a little video on it the other day. If you were one of the first to kind of message me saying you'd said, I haven't seen anything good about these guys. Kind of, that's what your message said. That led me, I'll be honest, I replied to Ben saying, got something like, surprise, surprise, the red.
A negative view
from
a
negative
view from a red.
Yeah, I'll be honest. But I then did go, if you've seen my video, I spent almost like the rest of that day having a look at them, and I didn't find anything good about them.
Do you know, all I'd done is listen to our podcast, and there was somebody who's got quite a lot of football knowledge who was on it. That was all about football all around the world. And as soon as the rumours were, or the rumours had intensified, because they've been rumours for ages, haven't they? This person, who is a Liverpool supporter, was saying, this isn't good if it's true. And he said they've got either stakes or, majority stakes in a number of clubs, and there isn't anything real positive that's come out of the clubs from the fans. What the sort of consensus was is they buy stakes in clubs who are struggling a little bit, where they think that they may be able to get them back to where they need to be, and then obviously there's going to be a lot of money that'll be made on the back of that, but they aren't actually doing anything to help get the club back to where they need to be. So it's more like a case of gambling and thinking it's a big TV deal going to come in or something that will boost the revenue.
Really,
potentially.
Yeah, I think that makes total sense. And from what I'd seen when I done it, I'll bring a few up here, and I'll bring these up on the bottom of the screen as well. If anybody didn't see them the other day, we won't go that one though.
They've got a huge portfolio, haven't they? But like
Well,
you say,
they have, but so yeah, you go there. That's standard liaise supporters expressing their opinion on 777 partners. That's it's a load of banners, and it says your galaxy shouldn't. It says damaging our future, but it means your galaxy shouldn't damage our future.
yeah,
Vasco fans protesting outside their office. That was May.
yeah,
You know, May this year. Red Star Paris to play behind closed doors after fans protest
yeah.
against 777 partners takeover. Hertha Berlin, their deal's being investigated.
Is it?
Yeah, their investment's now being investigated. I think it's like, so it's actually come out today. The one good thing is it's actually come out today that I seen a report saying it's highly unlikely now. Apparently this is only earlier today.
Yeah.
And there you go. There's the worst one. The worst one, I think, the one I'll put up here is the Sevilla one, that they've had to transfer list their entire squad
Yeah.
to try and make up debts. Yet they've got these guys. So imagine you're a Sevilla fan, right? And your club is transfer listing your entire squad. And again, only the end of June this year, a couple of months ago, to try and clear a £90 million debt. And the guys that own the majority are looking at buying Everton Football Club.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be absolutely livid, wouldn't you?
Yeah. It just shows a complete lack of care, to be honest.
It
by
does.
The sounds of it. Especially with Seville as well, because they've just won the Europa again, haven't they?
Yes,
so
you'd
you
think-
would be expecting them to be in a really good place.
You would.
Um,
But the place they're in at the moment is bottom of the league.
Well, that was one of the first things I looked at. So when I googled the teams who were under their portfolio, every one I looked at were bottom few teams in their league,
Yeah.
or bottom.
Yeah.
And I was thinking some of these are potentially the best teams in the league. Usually, Standard Liège is usually one of the best in their country, aren't
yeah.
they? Vasco da Gama are usually up there, one of the best, and they're right down at the bottom. Seville, bottom of the league, played 4, lost 4.
Yeah.
I think, or played 3, lost 3.
Played 3, lost 3.
Yeah, is unheard of really for them.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It was when I looked at it, I was like, ooh, this doesn't look good.
Yeah. So when I said then about a report that I've read today, and bear in mind this is only a report that only come out earlier, and I'll link it. I'll find it. It was a newspaper one, but it basically said that it's now in jeopardy because of the Premier League restrictions on
Fit and proper owners.
but there's a specific rule that says if the potential new owners or buyers have got any legal proceedings, and there can be legal cases going on, but if there's any legal proceedings to do with fraud or anything like that, and they have got one, it's ongoing now to do with fraud. I don't know what it is, but when I looked at the lad, one of the lad, Josh Walden or Vasco, something like that. Anyway, I looked at, this is the main guy. He's their main.
Yeah.
He's like the face of this company.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got all sorts against him. All sorts. He was done for drug trafficking. But that was 20 years ago, 2003. And I did say this on the video the other day. You know, everyone's got a past, haven't they? Like 20 years ago, and he hasn't tried to. Apparently, he responded to it saying he's never tried to hide that or anything.
Yeah.
He's spent the last 20 years trying to make himself different, this, that, the other.
Yeah.
Fair play. But then you've got legal scenes against him by the Bellagio in Vegas, American Express, all these other things that are there, and you're like, there's no smoke without fire. Do you know what I mean?
No, and I think the most concerning thing is, are Everton that desperate to sell? They will sell to anyone.
I don't know.
As an Everton fan, I'd be thinking, surely you've got to care more about who you pass the club to next.
Yeah.
Even if you want to get out desperately.
Yeah.
You
you mean as fans, are we
No,
desperate?
no,
Or, the actual
no.
yeah.
No, the actual owners have got a bit of a duty of care.
Yeah.
Like to still think, no matter how much we want to get out, this is still a football club. There's thousands and thousands of fans, communities that, this is everything to them.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, but obviously they don't.
No.
Because it looks like it got quite far down the line, and it might be getting vetoed last minute, but it seemed like it was quite close on Tuesday.
Apparently so, yeah, it did. And there were people. There was somebody like people on Twitter saying, "I've heard the deal's done. It's actually all done." But I think Premier League investigation would take quite a while on them, or they look at some of the things and go, "No, it doesn't meet our criteria right now. These proceedings have to be done, and you have to see the outcome first." But yeah, you're right in saying that they seem to have been prepared to sell to them. You know?
I think when you're asked about fans or the actual, the owners, I think your fans initially, before doing any sort of research, would have been happy just to get new owners in, and then quite quickly are like, hang on now, I haven't seen anyone who's saying good things about it.
I have to agree with you. And that's why that explains my initial instant reaction to your text, because I just initially straight away I was like, it's a buyer. We need funds. Mashiri, I think he has good intentions. Definitely had them, but it hasn't worked, has it? It hasn't worked at all. In fact, we're in a much worse position now. Apart from the one thing I'd say, apart from the stadium, we've got the stadium going for us, and I think that's what's keeping his head above water. That we're there, but and it says he's invested like 750 million in the squad, but it's worse.
The FFP stuff though, that gradually won't be an issue, will it? That's over a period of time, and that clock's still ticking and turning over. So,
and we've obviously made up some this season, or like this pre-season already, because
we've a couple of years where we've not been able to do virtually anything, and I've gradually these players who were signed for these crazy money are going to be gone off the amortisation.
We've shifted a lot. I'm going to go into some of the transfers and that in a bit, but we've shifted a lot already. We've shifted a lot off the wage bill, a lot. So yeah, you're right that, but we shouldn't have been there in the first place. Like, do you know what I mean? It's a big gamble, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a lot of bad decisions, wasn't it? For probably 18 month, 2 year period. Players coming in on crazy money. The transfer fees too high, and then shifting them is an issue, and they're still on the books over a period of time until them contracts are done. Yeah, because they were overpriced. So to even try and then sell them or move them on, the players are going to look at, well, why would I leave 100 grand a week here to go and play somewhere where I'm not actually worth that? I may as well. It's the issue Man United about. It's the issue Man United about, and I know they've still made signings, but that's why Harry Maguire hasn't gone, because of the wage he's on. West Ham was still offering him decent money. He wants to pay off United. And again, I was listening to a United fan a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about Brandon Williams, and they couldn't shift him because they had him on like 60 grand a week. Did they? Yeah. Because the problem United had is they put the hair on 350, 400, and then everyone at the club who's due a new deal will go, well, is that the going rate? Yeah. Rashford ends up on 250 or something even higher, and then everyone negotiating goes, well, I want 30 grand more, and of course, if they're not in the side and you want rid of them, you can't get rid of them. Yeah, of course. Comes down to that then, doesn't it? Like, when people say as well, he's only gone for the money, this, that, the other. Like Henderson, let's just look at Henderson for example, when he was accused of selling out for the money, selling out his royalties, his loyalty, to the I'm not going to name the letters, but the gay community. Thanks, community. For money, this, that, the other, and he said it's not. I didn't go for the money, but the thing is with me, right? I actually, believe it or not, I'm one of these that I know it'd be lovely to say you should want to play for the club. Doesn't matter what, you should want to play for the club. But the world's not like that anymore. It's not, and they obviously go for the money. Don't care what they say. They obviously go. Of course they do. Do you know what I mean? Like, he'd said that he hadn't had any sort of conversation about money. And I think if he hasn't had any conversation about money when he's going to move from being Liverpool captain to a side in Saudi that have about 3,000 spectators, then he's either really daft or that's not telling the truth. I think the main thing with him was a bit of an ego thing. The fact that I believe that he was told that he wasn't going to be first choice, and I think he's trained really hard. He's come back, you've seen the pictures of him in proper shape, and then he's come back and he's had a conversation with Klopp and he's been told that he's not going to be a first choice starter. And I think his ego has led him to think, well, I'll look elsewhere, and that offer's come in for silly wages, and he's thought, well, okay, well, maybe just do it.
Damn right.
So,
damn right. You'd like him, you would have liked him to have stayed for us, wouldn't you, and gone, well, stay and fight for your place. Like, yeah, you might, you know, a lot of players are told they're not first choice, but fight for it.
Especially at Liverpool, where we've had that many problems with injuries
especially
and midfielders.
Now, especially now, you're struggling for midfielders. So maybe things would have changed, and Klopp would have gone, do you know what, actually, we're more solid with him in there, so
he would have kept him, definitely. And he was talking about not being sort of told that he was wanted, and I'm thinking, well, he was given a pretty lengthy contract, only 18 months, 2 years ago, something like that. Klopp went out on a limb to do it. I don't think there's any way that anyone can accept that he didn't feel wanted.
Yeah.
I genuinely think it was a bit of an ego thing, because he was told he wouldn't be first choice, and he's just thought, I'm not really happy with that, I don't want to do like a Milner role, which is what was spoke about. But if he would have stayed, he probably would have played loads of football, he would have played some really big games, he just wouldn't have been first choice. But it's not the end of the world, he's 33,
not the end of the world, 33, yeah. Maybe Milner was somebody you should have looked at, you know. That's what you would like, you would like the likes of a Milner to just, he'll throw himself anywhere, won't he? Play whatever he's told to play.
Yeah.
Do whatever he's told to do.
Playing right wing back for Brighton.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Not just, you know, there might be a lot of Everton fans sitting here, you know, picking up a Liverpool player, whatever. But you gotta be fair to him, Milner. He's like the model player that your club would want. Really, just I want you to play right back. He'd probably go and goal for you if he was told to. He just does whatever he's told and just keeps himself going.
Yeah, played the full season at left back for Liverpool.
Yeah, fantastic. So, okay. But yeah, I was going to say though, when it comes to like I said, I'm okay with it, because I'm not like kind of naive enough. Maybe I don't know if that's the right word or not, but I'm not like I just don't think that anybody now, kind of anybody does anything work-wise. Yeah. That's not for money. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, like, you know, we all go to work for one reason. So, I think if you know, if you ask a player, well, you're only going for the money. Yeah. I've
had disagreements though with friends and on our group about this, and I genuinely wouldn't have gone if I was him. I genuinely wouldn't, and I wouldn't have been as bothered about the money, because of the footballers are different, aren't they? The amount of money that he's earned over a 10-year period, he's more than comfortable, and he still would have been earning 150, 180 grand a week, whatever it was, his contract at Liverpool, as well as sponsorships. And he would have been living in England, you know, still close to family and friends and stuff like that. I wouldn't have been going to Saudi.
No,
genuinely.
So neither would I. No, I wouldn't.
That's just me.
If I was a football player, if I'm me right now and somebody offers me 400 grand a week to go and move to Saudi, I'd be there tomorrow. But if I was a football player already earning, like you said, 100 grand plus a week anyway, then no, you wouldn't find me. It wouldn't be my choice to move to Saudi Arabia.
We're probably in the minority, to be honest, because speaking to almost all my mates, they're like, you can't turn it down, that looks after the kids, and I'm like, I wouldn't even be thinking about that personally, but most do, so.
No, I wouldn't. But I think, like, I know they say that looks after your kids, whatever. But to be fair, the amount, like you said, the amount anyway, still should still be a good setup for them all. You know?
I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, I think they'll. Yeah.
But would you be wanting to go and play in a league that is second rate in front of a few thousand fans, training with players that aren't very good? That's your day-to-day role, compared with, you know, what he was doing.
No, not at all.
And that's not just him, that's loads of players, to be honest.
It is, we just chose him, but there's obviously loads that have gone there for that. And did you see the clip of Gerrard When there's been a few, but you see when there's one where he's passes, he throws a ball to him, he tells him to pass or something.
He's calling him over, isn't he? He's
Yeah,
calling
yeah,
a player,
yeah.
facing him over, he's going like that,
Yeah.
and the player doesn't come, and then a player from around him comes and just stands there and he
Yeah,
just looks at him to say, what
so
are
where
you
he goes,
doing?
there's one where he goes, see, no communication, and it's like, there's another one where he walks into the change, you see when he goes in the change rooms and they're all cheering and everything, and he walks in, he goes, one game, you've won one game, and they're all looking at him, they're all like cheering and everything, he's like, you've won one game.
Probably not used to it.
Oh,
I think they've actually started okay. I think
I'm
they're
sure
about,
they have.
They're about 4th.
I'm sure they have, yeah.
Yeah.
Are they 4th or 5th even with the... They've got, it's not just Henderson, they've got a few players. Oh no, he doesn't play for Gerald's team, does he? Or does he?
Henderson does. They've got Dembele. They've got one of the Dembele's, haven't they? The striker, and I think he's started okay.
Damari Gray.
Damari Gray's just gone there. I think there might be one other player, but they're not one of the clubs that have been invested in. There's 4 clubs that have had the heavy investments, and they're not one of them.
Mahrez didn't go to Gerald's team, did he?
No, he's gone to another one.
Mahrez is playing with Thingy, isn't he? Neymar.
Saint Maximin and Firmino, I think.
Yeah.
I think so. There's Al Hilal, Al Ittihad.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's 4 of them that have had the PIF funding,
Right.
where they've got the create, and it's basically the Saudi government that are funding 4 teams. And I don't think it matters which team you play for out of them. I think the government is just funding all 4 of them, so it's a little bit of a farce.
That's because if you're one of the other teams. How many teams are in the league? Have you any idea? I don't know, like.
I think it's relatively big. It might be about like 18 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
If you're one of those other teams, that's gutted, isn't it?
Yeah, well, again, I'm not sure what the usual league is like, but it makes a bit of a mockery of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure they got genuine footy fans there.
Yeah. Okay, that was a little bit about that. Well, we started there about Everton's 777 takeover. Personally, just to finish on that, I know we've gone well away from that, but to finish on that, I don't think and hope it doesn't happen. We need a takeover, like you said. How desperate are we? I think we are desperate for a takeover. Just not them. Just doesn't. They don't seem right, like you said. All the other things, all the other teams you look at. The good thing, you'd think the good thing about them, right, is that there's 7 case studies there to look at of 7 teams that they've recently invested in, taken over, whatever, and they're all not good case studies. They're not a good advertisement for them to take over our club.
So you said you spent a day looking at it.
Yeah,
and found
it was
all these things.
Yeah,
so whoever is in charge of Everton and the sale, and has had all this time to look into it and do the due diligence and whatever, and has still been happy to confirm a sale to them,
It's a disgrace.
is really, really bad. Yeah,
It's a
it
disgrace.
shows a complete lack of care.
Yeah, it does. It does actually. Yeah. I think Everton fans, a lot of us, know that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've been questioning it a lot. There's been all the sack the board and all that justified as well. You know, justified. And normally what you want is that's all okay, and supported by me, by the way. But then you want to get to the game on Sunday and just put that aside. As Sean Dyche's words when he first come in, and he said he knows there's a lot wrong here. He knows it. It's no secret. But he just asks us all, when it comes to 3 PM Saturday, 4:30 Sunday, whatever, can you just park it? Just support the lads on the pitch, and that's what we need to do as fans. You know, that's all we can do. You can voice your opinion on that. I think, you know, social media, this video, other videos, whatever. But I think when you're there,
Protest before, isn't it? There's been plenty. I've got a good friend in work who goes on them.
Yeah.
And the protests, not by the ground, I don't think, but the protests.
they walk up. They seem to walk up and finish at the ground.
Yeah, so they're not doing anything in the ground. You know, once the game's on, they're obviously doing the usual, getting behind the team, but they're trying to make sure they're being heard before it.
There was one they tried. There was somebody that tried to do one that was leave. It was a walkout protest, which was leave on the something minute. There was a reason. I think it was the 27th. There was a reason behind it. But it wasn't followed that well.
It's always going to be difficult to do a walkout, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
people have paid their sometimes people can't get all the tickets, and they managed to get one. And then all of a sudden this group raises, we're going to do a walkout, and you're like, I've been trying to get a ticket for 3 months.
We
you know.
we did it, didn't we, the other year when they tried to put our prices up to either, was it 79 quid? So on the 79th minute, there was a walkout. But again...
79th minute's alright though.
Exactly, you've seen most of the game. And a lot did walk out, but loads stayed. And being honest, you know, they paid a lot of money to go and watch. So
yeah, you can't judge them.
It's a catch-22.
You can't judge them for it, can you? You can't judge them for staying or whatever, you know. But yeah, so we'll see what happens there. Right, we'll go into a bit now. What I'm going to do, I said to I've just read Paul, I said to Ben at the very beginning, I'm going to put my timer on to time how long we're on each thing. And my alarm hasn't gone off, which means I didn't even press the button. So I'm going to just check. I'm going to come dead close to everybody on the camera and check where we're up to here. 35 minutes, we're good.
Okay.
So yeah, we're gonna move on, and we're gonna have a little chat about our respective clubs and where we are. Firstly, we'll go Liverpool first, because we've just done, like, we went Anfield, then we went 777 talk. So let's talk Liverpool. So one thing I wanted to have a look at, I just wanted to chat up to now. Great start to the season. For you guys, great start.
Better than I would have expected.
Chelsea away first game, big banana skin after. It's a tough one. It's always a tough game, obviously, Chelsea away, and you think to start there, you're like, this could upset the start of that. And to be fair to them, I did think Chelsea played really well that game.
The way the game went, we started really well, deserved to go in front, and then we had the Salah goal that was very close. It was offside, just.
That's right, yeah.
And if that goes 2-0, I think we win 3-0.
Okay.
But they then get the equaliser, and they have
it.
us pinned back for a lot of the game.
They did, didn't they? Yeah.
Being honest, I thought we defended pretty well.
Yeah.
But they were the better side for a lot of it, and there was times when I was thinking we're going to get beat here. But that showed a different side to Liverpool that I haven't seen. I didn't see it last year. We'd have lost that last year, definitely. Yeah,
where you were able to just defend it and dig deep.
Yeah. They
take the points away.
They managed to ride the storm. They struggled at times, but
it was a long time as well. Like you say, it was kind of constant pressure from Chelsea for a lot. That second half was.
We had a little period in the second half as well, but don't get me wrong, Chelsea were definitely the better side in the game overall. But Chelsea were the home side. So before the season started, if we looked at the 4 games in a block, I'd have took 8 points and I'd have been happy with 8 points. 2 home wins, 2 away draws. That would have been, with Chelsea and Newcastle away, I'd have thought we've gone to 2 of the rivals for top 4, got points there, and we've won the home games that we want to win. To get 10 points out of it, I think they're really promising. Again, we've rode our luck at times. You know, Newcastle, obviously.
Newcastle 1-0 down, Anthony Gordon. 1-0 down, and then losing Van Dijk.
So we were on the back foot again for virtually all of that game. You know, from when it went 1-0.
You don't want me to mention the Van Dijk thing, but I said though, and this is, and I know people won't agree, but I think you agree. I was watching this. I was on a ship coming back from Ireland, and I was watching it, and there were a load of Reds sitting facing the screen. You could tell they were Reds because they were right there, and they didn't cheer when you could just tell they were Reds. There's one guy sitting to the right, at the back, and he cheered when Newcastle scored. He definitely wasn't from Newcastle. He definitely wasn't a Geordie. Yeah. Sounded Irish. And I just thought, I didn't know whether he was an Everton fan or something. I was trying to get a bit of a feel of it. But anyway, honestly, I wasn't that close to the screen. But as Van Dijk made that challenge, I honestly thought it was I thought he was unlucky of what happened to him, because I thought he challenged for the ball, and I thought he hit the ball, to be honest. But a lot of people disagree with me.
Most do, and everyone who's watched it back says that it's a foul and it's a red card. I watched it in a pub. It was my birthday actually, so it ended up a good day.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, and at the time, I actually shouted out, "Brilliant tackle," because the way he comes across and wins it. Yeah. I think when you slow stuff down, you get a bit of both. And what I said to my mates in the pub, if the ref gives a yellow card there, I don't think there's an uproar. I just think people go, okay, yeah, fair enough.
Mm.
Once he gives a red, people start looking at it and go, yeah, I can see why he's given a red. I just think just give the yellow. The same with the McAllister one against Bournemouth. If he just gives the yellow, there's no issue at all. I think they make it hard for themselves. I genuinely do.
So Van Dijk's obviously then been penalised more for his dissent after it. So he misses. So how many games does he miss now?
He just misses Saturdays, so it's an extra game.
It's just 2 games because it's not. You only get the 3 games if it's like violent conduct or something.
Yeah, it's violent conduct.
So his was a tackle. So he gets a red for that and 1 game, and then his dissent after it.
Yeah. Which
is another game. The one thing I'd say about that, I don't know what you think on this, but I know like they can't, and it's a tough one for me because if something that serious has happened and you've been given the red, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
So like, to keep your mouth shut and just go, oh, all right, ref. It's hard, but I will say I've been watching the Rugby World Cup a bit.
Yeah.
And rugby players do just like that.
Do you know what though? One thing I will say in response to that.
Yeah.
Rugby referees don't half speak to rugby players in a better way.
Oh, they do.
They don't patronise them and speak to them as if they're like little school kids.
It's so refreshing to watch and listen to, isn't it?
It's like it's an actual conversation between 2 adults. Whereas if you listen to the footage back, what Sky did, where they let you listen to the ref and the VAR, the way Brooks spoke to Van Dijk, he spoke.
I haven't heard that one. I've heard.
You'll get it on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll have a look at it then.
So Michael Owen did a thing with Howard Webb last week which they went through a series of decisions and they showed you the VAR or let you hear.
I listened to the Howard Webb, but to the Mike Dean one.
Well, what I thought is, I don't think Van Dijk can complain that he's been given the extra ban, given how he's reacted in the end.
I haven't heard. So I'm saying this. All I'm trying to say is like it's hard not to have an instant reaction because he is human, and at the end of the day, he has been sent off in it.
The ref doesn't help. Like I say, the way he speaks to him is really. It's just get away from it. It's not the way rugby refs speak to their players is different, definitely.
Yeah. So I've heard. I was going to say that a lot when you said about the way they talk to them. That's something that you hear all the time. Go away.
Yeah.
Go away. Take him away. This, that, the other, and you're like.
There's no understanding of the situation. So, like you say, he's just given a red card. Emotions are high. Why not speak to him in a proper way?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Come here. What you've done.
Yeah.
What you've done. What I've seen is you've done. If you've done this, you've come through him.
Yeah.
And you're the last man. You just can't do that, and maybe it would, diffuse it.
Explain it a bit better.
Diffuse it,
in a better way. Do you know, in a more understanding way. And I know, like I say, emotions are probably high for the ref as well. I just didn't think that he communicated it very well. The extra game for Van Dijk, he probably deserves it as long as that is consistent. I've seen players be doing that for season after season. Not much happens. If that's now the rule, where if you speak back in that way, you're going to get an extra game, then fair enough, and it might stamp it out a little bit.
Yeah.
The fine was a bit inconsistent. He got 100 grand fine.
100,000, that was a big one, that wasn't it?
It's one of the biggest I've seen.
Yeah.
Bigger than like racism fines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, again, it's as if he's had an example made of him.
I should listen. I didn't know it was out there. I should listen to this first. What? Did he swear? Did he swear on him? That did he? Yeah.
He said he was a joke, but yeah, swore at him. Yeah.
All right.
We swear on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he basically just said to him, "You're a fucking joke," which isn't great. And being honest, at the time, even without the footage, it was clearly obvious what he said to him.
Was it?
Yeah, I could lip read him. I was like,
yeah.
So I don't have an issue with him getting the extra game, given what's happened. If that is now what's going to happen, when.
Well, you see, you just have to wait and see, and then expect it. And then if other players are saying, I'll tell you, throughout the course of the rest of the season, players will say worse than that. You're a fucking joke. Players will say a lot worse than that to refs.
Yeah, it's one of them things. You've got to just accept it and hope that it carries on and it's fair for everyone else. for me, it seems like they've made a bit of an example out of him.
Yeah.
In the same game, the referee was really poor. I mean, the Trent situation, he could have definitely gone. But the actual initial booking that he gets, Andy Gordon pushes him in the back, pushes him out of play, and he throws the ball back on the pitch and gets a yellow card. And you're like, the yellow card should have gone the other way.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen when he gets a good shove off the pitch, yeah.
And then he puts himself in a terrible position, the ref, because he really probably should give him a booking for the second one and must think, if I'm sending him off here now, probably got the other one wrong. And then he doesn't, and it's a talking point, and the crowd are up, and he's made a mess at the start of the game, to be honest.
Yeah, I get that as well, that they obviously, and Mike Dean's confirmed it in what he said, they do make decisions based on other aspects and not based on what's just happened. They base it on, I don't really want to put myself in this position. And even you've heard the VAR saying like that, it was when Mike Dean was VAR and he didn't want to put his mate in a position in that. And it's terrible.
Shocking that, to be honest.
It's terrible, isn't it? It's terrible.
I mean, staying with that game though, again, Newcastle had us on the back foot, and the save that Alisson makes is unbelievable. And they probably should score a second. I think Harvey Barnes gets in down the left and should just cut it back and doesn't. And we then smash and grab with Nunez's 2 brilliant goals. But I think like before that, Liverpool had stayed in the game, and we made 2 subs. We brought on Elliott and Jota, I think, possibly at the same time, and we changed the game. We it was as if we hit a point and thought, we're still in this, and now we're going to bring these on, and can you cope with this? And
have a go. We're actually going to go and have a go. Yeah. Fair enough. I brought up there your squad. It was confirmed only, I think it was confirmed a few days ago. I brought it up because I did think of a squad for the league. Midfielders, there's only 5 midfielders, but then do you know that Szoboszlai, is it?
That's outdated. That
McAllister, is it? There's only a few days ago,
Well, we've got Gravenberch as well now, haven't we?
Okay.
And then they're in the under-21 there.
There's under-21s down there. So
down,
Gravenberch there. So under-21s don't need to be listed. So there's also Bajetic, Elliott, Gravenberch, right?
Yeah. Even Bobby Clark's probably classed as a midfielder who will play in Europa essentially.
So also once to look at them, your signings, right? And who's gone? So your signings there: Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch, Endo, Sepp van der Berg. It's mainly those 4.
They've got them bottom 4 are on loan. So they've
gone back out, have they?
Yeah.
So they'll be down here. But
all of them,
the ones that they are down there. But the ones that have left there are Fabinho, Henderson, Firmino, Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Milner, Carvalho. It's a good midfield, that, isn't it?
It's a lot of experience in midfield.
It's a good midfield, that, for him.
The problem that a lot of them had was playing with the intensity that Liverpool midfielders should play at. And I think when I came on last time, we spoke about Liverpool's midfield, and I said that they should have been gradually changing it, just doing one player each transfer window, and they didn't.
Changed a lot.
They've just done it all in one go.
Yeah, they just changed a lot. Yeah.
So far, so good, but there's a long way to go. It's 4 games, but Szoboszlai, McAllister, both have been excellent.
Szoboszlai, McAllister, Endo. It seems to be a lot of pressure on those legs for the rest of the season, though, I think, isn't there?
The options, I don't think the options in midfield are as bad as people think. There's still a Curtis Jones, there's a Harvey Elliott who's been playing there, Bacetic is going to come back, Thiago, so there's plenty of options, I think, now. And you would like to think obviously there was Gravenberch as well. So
on him, do you know much about him?
No, not well. I'd seen a little bit of him 3 seasons ago. We played Ajax,
Yeah.
and he was very good.
Was he?
Yeah, we played them in the Champions League, and he was excellent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would he have been? 18 then?
I was 18,
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he was good. Yeah.
he was very good. But again, he was one of like the more highly rated sought after midfielders, and went to Bayern, and it wasn't even for massive money. I think he went for about 25 million. And at that time, I was like, clubs have missed a bit of a trick here. But then it hasn't worked for him at Bayern. And some of the...
Last season, 24 games, no goals, no assists.
Then he won't have started hardly any. I think he only started about 2 or 3.
Did he? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he
he's
wasn't
come
getting
on
a
as a sub for all those games.
Yeah, most of them. For Bayern, yeah.
Even when you go to... So I did just have a look at this fella, because I just hadn't heard much of him. And even when you go to his Ajax stats, not set the world on fire, do they really?
No, he's sort of a bit of an all-rounder. So he's not somebody who's going to get you 10 goals. A lot of people are talking about him.
Season 21-22, just for you guys behind the camera, sorry Ben. Season 2021, 32 matches, 3 goals, 5 assists, and 21-22, 30 matches, 2 goals, 5 assists. So, like, I hadn't really seen much. You said you had because you guys played.
Not loads,
Ajax.
but in the 2 games against us, he was very good.
Yeah.
So in 22, he'd have been 18 or 19, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
So it's not bad stats for a kid that age.
It's a young player, like it is. And maybe because he was young, maybe even then, I don't know about size, but maybe even then he was coming off the bench, maybe, and just getting his games.
I think he played most of the time for Ajax. I think he was a bit of a key player.
Yeah, was he?
Yeah, I think so. He played against us, definitely. But no, he was really highly rated. But they're talking about, he's meant to be a bit of a number 8. But I think the talk behind the scenes is they're going to try and mould him into a bit more of a deeper player.
Okay.
That's what I'm hearing. Whether that happens, we'll see. I think with Liverpool and with Klopp, he likes his midfielders to be able to move.
Yes, yeah.
You might start as an 8 in the game, but 20 minutes in, we're going to say go back to 6. To keep the other team guessing, depending on how the game's going. And I think with Szoboszlai, McAllister and him, there is the flexibility potentially. Endo, not as much. He is literally just a holder by the looks of it.
Yeah. We'll see though. It'd be interesting to see him. Be interesting to watch him. I'm not. By the way, I'm not saying he's crap. I'm just saying it. I hadn't seen much of him.
Yeah.
And so I did look at it. You know, I haven't seen much. So I look at his stats, and I might have looked at his stats for. Yeah, I don't know what they've seen, but stats don't tell everything. You obviously got to see
the main. If we're going to sort of continue with Liverpool, the main issue we've got, in my opinion, is at centre half, and I think that's where we should have done something. Definitely, I think we've made a mistake, to be honest. And we're on game 5 at the weekend, and we've got issues already.
Yeah.
So Van Dijk's obviously got the ban. Can I say there's talk that he might be back, and we need him back? Yeah, there's talk that he is. If he is, great. But if he's not,
who are you playing
then
in there?
Trent went off in his last game, so Gomez may have to play right back. So therefore, you would be looking at the kid Kwanzaa having to play centre half. And while he's come in and did all right against Newcastle and Villa in sub appearances, that's a lot of pressure.
It's not ideal. It's
No.
not ideal.
So it shows that we're light already.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That seems like taking a step back. Like
we gamble every year. I don't get it.
6-7 years or something. That when you were crying out for a goal. Well, not 6-7 years, for a long time. You were crying out for a goalie and a good centre half. And then you went out and got them and did things. You know, did things following those 2 signings of Alisson and Van Dijk. That was when you really started pushing on, I thought. So
Only 3 seasons ago we had the issue with centre half, didn't we? When we sold Lovren at the last minute and didn't replace him, and then we had the injury to Van Dijk. Matip then got injured, and we were playing Nat Phillips and Reece Williams
you
at
had
the
to
end
go
of the season. And for a lot of the season we were playing Fabinho centre half and Henderson at times centre half. So you would hope that they'd learn from them things, but it's like they want the perfect signing or they don't sign them. I think we probably could have got somebody in at centre half who'd do a job, who'd be a bit of a utility squad player, and I think they've made a mistake there. Whether they get away with it, we'll see, but it's a gamble.
Could have got Harry Maguire, mate. Mate, did you see that news reporter? Sorry to digress a little bit. Did you see the news reporter after the England Scotland game?
No.
Who said to the Scotland coach, Harry, he went, So Harry Maguire got your only goal today. Is he somebody that you'd like in your squad? And the coach went, no, not a chance. I just that was kind of it. I think we were like, me and the lads were like, what sorts of questions that anyway? But he did. But the coach went, no, not a chance.
I actually feel a little bit sorry for Harry Maguire.
I do, it's just not going for him, is it?
I think I said in a couple of WhatsApp groups, he needs to be taken out of football for
Probably
a couple of months.
The rest
and
of the season,
just go and have a break.
Just have a little break for the rest of the season, make a decision on your career, like. But yeah, I think he definitely does, because nothing's going right for him.
United have took him out, and then Southgate thinks he's doing him a favour picking him, and he's not. Just leave him out.
It's not right as well, to talk about that and talk about Southgate. Like, it's just not right. The picks there. That's for another day. We'll perhaps do a session on England, but it's just not right, his picks and that. Like people he's picking who aren't even playing, they're not even getting minutes. So how does he know like what their form's like or anything? It's a joke. It's a joke, mate.
I agree.
It's always been like that, I think. England picks.
He's quite contradictory though, because he said a few years ago he'd only play people if they were playing for their club and in good form, and then for about 18 months has totally contradicted it. But yeah, I won't go into Southgate too much.
No, we won't. So I've just brought up the table briefly. I'll tell you what, no, we'll do the table at the end. What we'll do, we'll move on. Let's move on about my club, Everton. Where am I? Get that one up. I brought up our squad. Brought up our squad for us there. So we've got 4 goalkeepers listed in our squad, and like only 5 forwards, which is I don't know. For me, do you know what I'd say? I'll go down it and I'll try and put a picture up. But obviously we got Pickford, number 1 in our back 4 is there. Patterson. You'd hope Tarkowski, Branthwaite, and Ashley Young.
Yeah.
For me, we have Michael Keane sitting there, and
he should have a break with
Harry
Maguire.
He's like our Harry Maguire. He is. I was just about you've took the words out of my mouth there. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, they should just go on like a round the world tour.
They should, shouldn't they?
A good while, yeah.
They should go and do one of those shows or something. Yeah, round the world shows, something together there. He'd be good at that. But it's just full of mistakes. It's Branthwaite seems to be. I think he could be decent with Tarkowski next to him.
He looks good.
Yeah,
he does. He looks good. Can't remember the last game when I watched, and he did everything right.
Yeah.
Won his battles, positionally he was good, and he did well on his loan last season as well.
He did well on his loan. Who was it? He was playing for on his loan. It was over in
PSV. It was.
Yeah, PSV. Yeah, and he did. Well, yes, he got a couple of goals in that for them as well. He did do well. So it's good to see him back. Got the likes of Godfrey, Coleman. I was going to say, I brought this up, I was going to say, do you know what? There's one thing. So I know we just talked about Liverpool, who they let go and that. Just to move on to who Everton let go. Big one for me there, out. I think he's at the very near the bottom. Connor Cody. I think we had an option to buy him for like 3 million.
It was low. I think it was about 4.5 or something.
I just don't know why you don't buy him, because we're short in there. I think you could do a job. There's this everybody says, don't they? And there's this big thing that he can't play. It's a back 4, isn't it? I think he can't play in a back 4.
Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah. I just don't know. I just think for those, like say we brought Branthwaite back to play there. I just think, and then after Branthwaite and Tarkowski, we're looking at Michael Keane and Godfrey.
Yeah. That
you're stuck stepping in, because Mina's gone as well. Bless him, I think he's injured again now as well.
Is he?
Yeah. But he's gone. So we've shifted some wage bill, but I just would have liked us to have kept Cody, to be honest, to have that, to have that cover.
The only thing I can think of with Cody was, is he on a decent wage? I don't know. Possible. Yeah, because he's been captain England, hasn't he, and stuff, so did he want a decent wage? Because otherwise, for the fee, the type of person he is in the dressing room and stuff, he's probably not a bad person to have around.
Definitely. definitely. Yeah, I think he is. He is like this leader
Mm.
in the change rooms. That's what's reported. But got their midfielders, 8 midfielders, but 2 of them are Dele Alli and Andre Gomez, who've both come back. You know, Dele Alli finished. It's sad about Dele Alli. Don't get me wrong. You know, because I think there was he put out the episode and that, so not, you know, no judgment on that or whatever, but I can't see Dele Alli and Gomez having much this season.
Yeah, Gomez might have more of a chance, and I know Everton fans might not want to hear that, but he's in the squad, he's there, he's probably fit. I think he probably played pre-season, so you might see more of him.
Yeah.
Dele Alli, you just don't know, do you, with the mental side of things?
No, unfortunately, no, you don't. I say unfortunately as well, it is, because he had he was like one of these players with the world at his feet, wasn't he, at one time?
Yeah.
You know, playing there behind Harry Kane and that, and he was really good. He's really good.
He was one that Liverpool had been linked with back in the day and didn't get him because it was quite a bit of money for a young player when Tottenham signed him. And when he was burst onto the scene at Tottenham and was flying and scoring goals, and then scoring goals for England, there was loads of Liverpool fans kicking off saying, we should have got him, why haven't we took a gamble? But then what's happened with him since? He's literally, you know, fell off a cliff, hasn't he?
Yeah, unfortunately for the lad, yeah, it's sad, but do you know what, it'd be lovely to see him come in, get minutes, play well, do well, start picking it up, but I just can't see it. And the unfortunate thing for him is we as a club can't afford to
without being horrible, it's probably not the best club. I know you're giving support and that, but I don't think it's the best club for him to come in and play games for at the moment. Do you know, because every game and every point's vital, and he could do with a little bit less pressure wherever he plays for now. I agree, because we can, as a group of fans, we can be both. We could be so supportive of him, which we are and we will be, but I think once you get into that situation in the ground, it can turn, and it's because the pressure's on big. Even if it's not on him though, like if it's just an atmosphere like that and you're bringing him on and he's already not in the, you know, the best frame of mind, whatever, it's probably not ideal. He could do with a bit of football where there's just literally not too much riding on it. Definitely, maybe to start trying to get some form again. Enjoy it. Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah, ideally he could do with trying to enjoy it. But yeah, and then we've got big thing for us. Dwight McNeil coming back. It's huge for us. He was one that was creating for us last year. Anana, Decore, Idrissa Gueye, Garner. Do you know what? Honestly, I think they're good players, mate. They're good. You know, they're decent players. Just need them to click together. That's the thing. When they're on the pitch, there just seems to be just something missing. Unfortunately, you hope they're better. So you see the forwards, Calvert-Lewin, injured at the moment. Surprise there. Danjuma, Jack Harrison, Beto, Chimiti. So Beto, just got to be. I was impressed by him, mate. I know who was it, Doncaster. So I watched it, obviously as a Liverpool fan, and I was really enjoying it. And then he came on, and he was very good. To be fair, he looked. I know it was only Doncaster, and you know where they are and stuff, but he was a handful. He was quick. He's tall. He's strong. Direct. He looked like he'd be a pest to play against. So, you know, it'll be different in the Premier League. There'll be better defenders, but I don't think many will enjoy playing against them.
No, well, we had the game at Sheffield after that, and he was the same. He was a pest to their defence, and I did a watch along of the Sheffield game, first one I've ever done, where I sat there, just watched the game, and was commentating on it. It was a cracker actually. Do you know what I'd done? I'd paused it to listen to some of the pre-match stuff, because they had Tom Davies, you know, obviously plays for Sheffield. So I'd paused it because that's I think my wife and the kids were leaving, so paused it. And I'd done that, then set myself up live and everything. I'd press play and that and watching it. Set myself up live and everything. Start watching it. I'm commentating, doing this live, watching it. And then it turned me, no, what happened was, I seen on my phone, it said 1-0, Decore scored, and I was like, what's going on here? Then I realised I hadn't got, so I was doing this live video 4 minutes behind, yeah. And then I turned my chat on. I hadn't even looked at my chat. I was like, oh, best start.
Do you reckon people were still watching you knowing you were 4 minutes behind?
Yeah, I turned my chat on and people going, I think you're behind me. And I was like, oh no. So what I'd done, I'd done with it forfeits where if we conceded, I had to eat a chilli. Oh, yeah. So I just necked the chilli just because for that mistake. So I had a red chilli, green chilli, and then a Scotch bonnet if they'd scored 3. I didn't think it'd get to that at all. And when they'd scored 2, and I was like, oh, and people commenting saying, mate, don't eat that Scotch bonnet, you'll be ill, like. And I was sitting there like sweating, thinking they're gonna score here.
But for Pickford, they might have.
Yeah, exactly at the end, yeah. Mm. But Beto, for even for that game, Beto was a pest to their defence, and it was good for me to see like they're like 50-50s in challenges and that, and the other players, the Sheffield players, were like coming off worse off. They were going down. I think a couple of them got injured, which I'm not saying I want players to be injured, but it was refreshing to see that our player is the one being physical and aggressive, and he's not fouling, but they're coming off like
knowing that they're in a game,
No, yeah, exactly that, mate. So yeah, but then of course we have got Arsenal, so our start to the season, it's not been great. Like you said, what did you say about your start? You were looking at like 8 points.
Yeah, 8 I'd have been happy with, yeah.
Yeah, so I was looking at a minimum from our first 3 this season. We've played 4 now. I was looking at a minimum of like 6 points because we had Fulham and Wolves at home. So Fulham at home, Villa away, Wolves at home. That Fulham and Wolves game, if we're going to stay up this season, they are the home games. They're absolutely vital. You can play an Arsenal at home and not get something. We want to, of course. Come Sunday, you're up for it. You want to get the points. We managed to beat them at home last season, but it's so tough. And if you come away from the game and Arsenal have beat you, it's almost like acceptable because it's Arsenal. But Fulham and Wolves.
That was the same as last season though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you lost them games around. With Boxing Day you lost to Wolves at home, didn't you? 1-0.
Yeah.
And you lost, I think you might have lost to Fulham as well.
I think we did lose to Fulham actually, yeah.
And then beat Arsenal. But like you say, you can't bank on beating Arsenal every season.
No,
so you do need to definitely start picking up points in games like that.
Picking up points at home. So you'll see there, after Arsenal, our next home game is Luton.
Yeah.
Now, that is that's going to be a huge game for us, If for any reason we don't get 3 points against Luton, we're in deep.
So you play Luton and then you play Bournemouth.
6 goals.
Both at home.
Back to back, both at home.
So they are the games that Dyche should be targeting, thinking if McNeil's come back, don't know how close Harrison is. Luton are abysmal. Like really, really bad. They look one of the worst that I've seen in the Premier League for a long time.
Everton's come in the Premier League.
Yeah, they look one of the worst. Yeah.
They do.
At the moment, I can't see anything about them.
No.
So, if you win that, no matter what, even if it's a 1-0 or whatever, you go into Bournemouth. There's a little bit less pressure. And to be fair, the Fulham game especially, they were very unlucky. They should have won.
We were. We should have won that. The Wolves game wasn't that different,
Yeah.
The Wolves game, I don't think we were as comfortable, and it's funny about saying comfortable because we were comfortable in the Fulham game but lost it 1-0. The Wolves game, we should have won that Wolves game, but that is. What does that say about you though? Unfortunately for us, 'cause you say like on the other end of the table, when a team goes, they always say that's the sign of a championship winning team.
Yeah, if you don't play
when a
well
team
and win.
plays crap and gets that 1-0.
Yeah.
Everybody says that's the sign of a winning team. Now, what does it say when you're the other end? You're struggling and you're playing well, but then you're not. You're losing. does it say, well, that's the sign of a relegation team?
Well, that's the worry, isn't it? Because you then get into a phase where you're not playing well. But the difference is you've now got a striker. So
yeah.
in them 2 games you did not better, did you?
Yeah, we didn't.
And if you did, you may have won them. You might have scored the first goal and then it changes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think that could have been a difference in them games.
Yeah. The Villa one, 4-0. That was tough. That
was terrible.
That was terrible. We were really bad. The defending was not just, there was no defending on our side of the pitch. Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah. I think losing Calvert-Lewin in that one so early with the cheek thing, I think losing him in that game knocked him, I think it knocked him for 6 again, because I think it was his first game back, and I think you get a bit like, I think they might have been told, they might have all looked at him and gone, do you know what, if we had a striker, if we had him, Fulham, I reckon we'd score, guys, I reckon we had it there.
Yeah.
We created chances, we just didn't have him. So you go into the Villa game thinking, well, let's do the same. He goes off, injured. I think it might have knocked us for 6. I don't know, but
they've got a lot of firepower, Villa, to be honest. It was a terrible performance from Everton. It really was. The goals they conceded, like some of them, they were getting worse. The goals they conceded.
They were actually.
But Villa have got a lot of firepower, and they battered Hibs a few weeks later, didn't they? And they probably will do that to a few sides in the league.
Yeah. They got battered by Newcastle though, didn't they?
They did, yeah. They sort of fell apart, and
it's funny that one, because I think that score really flattered Newcastle, because I don't think it was like, what was it, 5-1 in the end or something?
It was 5-1, yeah.
I don't think it was like a 5-1 game. Do you know what I mean? Like, Villa were creating a few things in that, but yeah, the score is the score, isn't it?
Yeah.
But on that, let's nip onto the table, because I think we probably have gone on for a while here. So we'll finish off on the table there, and, looking at the top, you are sitting well there. It's a nice start, isn't it? 10 points of 12. So
Yeah.
the only 2 points dropped is Chelsea away at the first game of the season. It's not bad at all. We've obviously got City 4 out of 4.
Their fixtures have been quite easy. Because City don't usually start as well as this.
They had Newcastle, didn't they? No, they don't. They normally finish like a flipping freight train, don't they? Yeah.
That's the worry. They can win 15 games in a row. But they've had Newcastle at home, but otherwise they've had games where you think they're expected to win them. And it is just City,
Tottenham are a bit of a surprise given the fact they lost Harry Kane, isn't it?
They are a bit of a surprise, definitely. I think the manner of some of the wins have been good as well. I think they won about 4-1 away to Burnley, something like that. I like the manager as well. I think we spoke about him when we were talking about 9 months ago when I was on, and Leeds were looking for a manager, and he was one of the players linked, the managers linked.
Yeah.
I didn't really know too much about him, but what I like is his press conferences. Have you heard of him?
Not really, no. He's good to listen to, like.
He's one of them who, if the question asked is a bit of a daft one, he lets them know about it.
Does he? Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. He's funny.
Nice.
He's got a bit about him.
Yeah.
Like an Aussie.
Yeah.
Which is what he is.
Yeah.
But he's got a bit of like a spikiness about him. He's quite direct. But I think the way he comes across, he's somebody the players will want to play for.
Yeah. Good. Well, good for them, because that's what they've needed. They've missed, when we say about like other teams. Looking at it again, going back at the classic when you were missing a centre half and a keeper, and like you can pick out, can't you? Teams, they're missing this, they're missing that. Tottenham have been missing. It's a manager. That's what they've been missing. It's a good coach. You can connect with both the fans and the players. They haven't had that for a while. Like
Tottenham are a team or a fan base that like a team that play good football, that are exciting, and they've just had 2 managers back to back that are the opposite of that. So they've had Conte and Mourinho, and they've had no enjoyment at all. My manager in work is a Tottenham fan, and I was speaking to him a couple of weeks back, and he said we're just enjoying watching footy again.
Yeah, okay. This, which is it's mad, isn't it, for Tottenham fans, because you and when we done one of his videos last season, and James there, remember James said Tottenham just hate winning, and it did sum them up, didn't it? It was a good way to what they do. They'll win 1, lose 2, and you think, God, the players they've got and everything. really good squad of players.
Yeah.
You just can't seem to do it. But up there in second. West Ham, surprising as well considering the last season really, but then they did win. What was it? The UEFA
They
Conference
won the Conference League, didn't they? They've got City at the weekend, haven't they?
Have they? Yeah.
It should be
That'll be interesting.
It's at West Ham
yeah.
as well, I think.
Okay, that'll be an interesting one then. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So we'll just nip down the other end. United is one to spot there though, isn't it? United and Chelsea, 11th and 12th. Newcastle 14th. We are early, but look at Newcastle start.
Their fixtures have been really, really tough. Newcastle's.
Who did they start with?
They started with Villa, then they had City away, then they had us, and then they had Brighton away.
Yeah,
which is horrendous.
Yeah,
fixtures.
Brighton away is tough, isn't it? Because as we know, Brighton are a good side.
There isn't an easy game
Especially
in them for.
No, there's
Yeah.
not. No.
What makes it harder for Newcastle now is the Champions League starts.
Yeah, of
And
course.
they've got a tough group.
Yeah, they have. Yeah. I think they'll enjoy it, even though it's a tough group. But
Have they got a squad to do it though? So they've got
won't
AC Milan, PSV, and the last one. They're no bugs. They've got.
not Marseille, is it?
Can't remember. Could be. But they're all games where you think they're not going to be able to rest players, and they've dropped that many points in the league already. They could do with doing well in the league.
Yeah,
Like they could do with winning the next 2 league games.
Let's see. Dortmund.
There you go.
That's Milan, PSG, Dortmund. Said Marseille, because I was listening to the radio the other day, and they had somebody on that moved from Marseille. I can't remember. Anyway, that's
Like you say, they're exciting games for them.
They're
I'm
exciting
sure
games
they'll
for
look
them,
forward to them.
it's
But
tough, isn't it?
if they're going to get out of that group, they're going to.
Good luck to them. Good luck to them. I can't see them getting out that group. If they do, tell you what, if they do.
But can they play their full strength team twice in a week in a tough Champions League game and then play whoever they've got? I don't know who they've got coming up in the league because they must have a couple of easier games now.
Because you'd not want, if you were Newcastle, you'd not want to be dropping back down the Premier League, would you? I think you'd want, they've got into the Champions League and give it a go. But you'd want them really to, if I was a fan, I think I'd want them to keep maintaining that position, that top 4 if you can.
Yeah.
Stay up there, grow the squad. So they've got they've got Brentford at home.
Yeah, so they have got three.
Then it's the Milan game, then Sheffield. So they've got, and then City's in the EFL, isn't it? So then Burnley. So tell you what, their league games there: Brentford at home, Sheffield away, Burnley at home.
So they're winnable games, aren't they?
Yeah, it's quite a decent
level. But to be fair to them, they deserve them games after the first 4. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we're 7 points ahead of them after 4 games.
It's a gap, that.
Yeah, it is.
It's a gap. So so West Ham are in 4th. So West Ham are also 7th.
Yeah.
West Ham and Arsenal, both. So you 3. You 4, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th are all 7 points ahead. Yeah.
And that is a big gap. Like I say, they're already at the stage where they're thinking if we drop points in another game where we shouldn't,
we're not going to.
How are we getting close to top 4?
Yeah, because you'd think West Ham, with respect to them, might drop off. But you'd think City, Tottenham, Liverpool, Arsenal probably won't. Tottenham might, but Liverpool, City, Arsenal won't. Let's go down the bottom. Have a look at my lot there. So we are 16th inside the relegation with Luton and Burnley and Sheffield above us. So you look there, Burnley, Luton, Sheffield, the teams that come up, and then you've got us in Bournemouth, Wolves around there. Those 5, that'll be 6 there at the bottom. So you've got, like I say, Wolves, Bournemouth, Sheffield, Everton, Luton, Burnley. Honestly, I think that's probably the 6 that are going to be in and around here come May,
I wouldn't disagree, to be honest. I know it's very early to say that, but those 6 that you would pick right now definitely to be the 6 that are
fighting
in and around that position for most of the season.
Yeah. You got to. So we look at those 6. We've already lost to Wolves there. That's it, and we've drew with Sheffield away though. Yeah. So we've got them at home. and you just think we've got Luton at home soon. You just think of those. Maybe we can give Wolves one back at their graph and get the points back. You know.
I mean, the other thing is Sheffield United have played Hughes at home and not won. So if they're looking at it as a little mini league, they've wasted points there.
Yeah.
That would have been one of the games where they'd have thought.
Just like I was saying about Fulham and Wolves, they probably look at that and say we needed to beat Everton. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
and it was like a cup tie, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It was 100 miles an hour.
It
tackles
was.
all
It
over
was
the place.
like it was. Yeah, yeah.
Very good game to be fair.
Yeah. So I just gotta, I think we're better, or they're worse. Luton and Sheffield. I think Burnley are sitting dead bottom, but I think Burnley have got a little bit about them.
I haven't watched them yet,
I think they've got a little bit about them. I think he can get them playing decent football company, but they are sitting dead bottom. -8 goal difference after. What if they played 4 or 3?
They've only played 3 because Burnley and Luton were meant to play each other.
Burnley and Luton, but Luton's ground. Yeah, so that's a big game, isn't it, for us? So go on, finish up. Where do you see top 4? Go on. What's your top 4?
City, Liverpool, Arsenal. Possibly still United, even though they haven't started to get the best.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to go City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and I'm going to throw Brighton in there. I think Brighton might make top 4 this season. Bottom 3.
The 3 that came up.
Yeah.
The 3 that came up, I think,
too,
are going back.
I think I do think that this season, I hope it, but I think the 3 that came up this season might go back down.
I don't, like I say, I haven't seen Burnley and I haven't looked at what business they've done. I think they have spent a little bit of money. Luton and Sheffield United, they haven't really done anything. Luton, I watched them against Chelsea.
Don't know any of their players.
They were so bad.
I don't know any of their players.
Sheffield United haven't really done much. The striker played well against Hughes, to be fair. Did they get him from Villa? Is it Archer?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's all right.
He played well.
Yeah.
But otherwise, they haven't done enough business. Nowhere near.
No.
So I think it'll be the 3 that came up.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Right, we'll finish off there. Just before we do you reckon I should? People keep saying, do you reckon I should iron my flags? Can't be asked, but.
No, I wouldn't iron them.
No, thanks, I wouldn't. I'm not ironing the flags, guys. Right, mate. Nice one.
Thanks very much, mate.
All right, finish off there.
Thanks for
Cheers, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit that button, guys. Thank you very much.